Okay, hi again, first and second graders. We are doing science. I know we talked a lot yesterday about glue and about substances of glue. We were observing the properties of glue. So this is lesson 1.3, observing the properties of glue. We did a lot of it yesterday, so this is what we're going to do today. I am scanning and sending home to you on an email a link, the vocabulary words. Make sure you know what they mean. Claim, design, engineer, evidence, material, observe, property, and substance. So yesterday we did the properties of the glue. And what we discovered was the properties of our glue ingredients were, it was shiny, it was strong, it dried clear. Well, one dried clear, the other one dried kind of puffy, I'll call it. They were both white. We were able to stick objects together. We were able to stick paper together. We were able to stick on feathers and what else did we stick on? Popsicle sticks. So these are the materials of what glue is made of. It is called the substance of glue. So, or the properties, the substance or the properties of glue ingredients. So, that was what we did yesterday. We are going to move on to supporting the claims of the evidence. Oh, I'm sorry, but before we move on to that, with this packet that I'm sending home, lesson 1.3, I have your vocabulary words, and I have 2 questions. So, think, pair, share. If you have no one to pair with, I'm sure you could do it on your own. But write your answers below. 2, what kinds of things is glue used for? What kinds of things is glue used for? So you're going to answer that. Question 2 of the think, pair, share is, what properties do you think our glue should have? What properties? Like, do we need it to be strong? Do we need it to glue together 2 huge pieces of wood? Do we need it just to glue paper together? Do we need it to glue cotton balls onto a paper? What do we need from our glue? What properties do you think our glue should have? So answer that below. Should it dry clear? Should it dry white? What color should we make our glue? Do we want shiny glue or not shiny, dull glue? So what properties do you think our glue should have? If you could produce your own glue and of different materials, what would the properties of the glue do? So that is the end of lesson 1.3, and now on lesson 1.4, now it talks about, I'll make this your homework. Now, lesson 1.4 talks about supporting claims with evidence. You need to have evidence to support your claim. You cannot just go around making statements and having everybody believe you. You need to show evidence. You need to show proof. Like when I was telling you, when you go to a courthouse, You can't just say, Your Honor, he did this and she did that, and you need to show evidence to support your claim that so-and-so did something to so-and-so. You need evidence to support your claim. So lesson 1.4, supporting claims with evidence. What we are going to learn is students will learn if you can tell if materials or substances are different by observing their properties or by testing them. So you have to observe and test your materials or your substances. You're going to learn how to observe them and test them in order to have some proof to make your claim. You will also learn that scientists and engineers make predictions. Scientists and engineers support their thinking with evidence. So, this is what you guys are going to learn in this lesson. Got it? You can tell if materials or substances are different by observing their properties or by testing them. Scientists and engineers make predictions. Scientists and engineers support their thinking with evidence. So, we are going to go into lesson 1.4. Students use evidence to argue whether or not mystery glues are the same substance based on their properties, patterns, causes, and effects. So you are going to use evidence to argue whether or not two mystery glues are the same substance based on their properties. So you should remember this also. The 3D statement. Okay. So let's move on. Designing a new glue for our school. An engineer is a person who uses science knowledge to design something in order to solve a problem. So this is lesson 1.4, showing evidence. So the first thing is an engineer this is on your vocabulary words. You can, when you get the vocabulary sheet, you can add this next to the word engineer. An engineer is a person, so you're going to write this on the vocabulary sheet that I'm sending home. And next to the word engineer, this is the definition of engineer. An engineer is a person who uses, oh, by the way, it is Friday, March 20th, 2020. Mrs. Klein, I'm doing first and second grade science. Lesson 1.4, showing evidence of our claims. An engineer, go to your vocabulary sheet. An engineer is a person who uses science knowledge to design something. Sorry guys, to design something. They have to design something. They got to figure something out in order to solve, solve a problem. So you're gonna write that in your vocabulary words. An engineer is a person who uses science knowledge to design something in order to solve a problem. Our problem is that the school needs a better glue, and we need to design a new school glue to help solve that problem. Let's see, have a student read the word. Okay, next. I thought of a sentence that uses the word properties. It's something we learned from What If Rain Boots Were Made of Paper. Remember that book, What If Rain Boots Were Made of Paper? And we said, oh my goodness, you can't have rain boots made of paper. They're going to rip and shred, and they're not going to be useful at all. So we need an engineer to design us a better rain boot with a better material, with a better substance, with better properties, better materials. An engineer needs to design that. So the properties of paper are different from the properties of rubber. Now I'm going to see if you can think of a sentence that uses the two words properties and observe. So think of two sentences. The first sentence you're going to use the words properties, and I thought a sentence or the word, use the word properties. So write a sentence where you use the word properties. Your second sentence is going to be a sentence that uses properties and observe. For example, here is my sentence. You can use your senses to observe the properties of glue. Okay, next. So I'm going to write two sentences. Next. I'm going to look at the different properties of a paper clip and a toothpick. We're going to provide evidence by observing and recording and reporting on the properties, the materials, and the substance of the difference between a paper clip and a toothpick. So, I have a toothpick and a paper clip. Toothpick and a paper clip. Now let's discuss the properties of these two items. The question is a paper clip made from the same material as a toothpick? Is a paper clip made from the same material as a toothpick? So, a paper clip, you're going to make two lists. Paper clip and a toothpick. A toothpick is made of wood. A paper clip is made of metal. A toothpick is brown, or light brown. Paper clip is silver. These are the differences in the materials of these two items. You're going to say yes or no. Yes, a paper clip is made from the same material as a toothpick, or no, a paper clip is made from different material than a toothpick. So, a paper clip and a toothpick have different properties. I'm going to say no, they do not have the same. They have different properties. A paper clip is shiny and a toothpick is dull. Paper clip is shiny and a toothpick is dull. I know you're all raising your hands going crazy like, I know. But I can't hear you. So, I'm gonna write on the board, and you can just listen, and then you can have your own chance to fill in the sheet, okay? So, how do we know? We're going to observe the two things. I just showed you the toothpick and the paper clip. Everyone knows what a paper clip looks like and a toothpick. What else is different? A paper clip can bend. Aha. Toothpick cannot bend because it will break, not bend. A paper clip makes a ping sound when you drop it. Ping sound. We learned that objects that have different properties are made of different materials. When you drop a toothpick, there is no sound when you drop a toothpick. We learned that objects that have different properties are made of different materials. Paper clips and toothpicks must be made of different materials. So my answer is no, they're not made of the same stuff, they are made of different materials, and this is my evidence. My evidence this is a V. My evidence shows I observed the two things, I did some testing, I dropped them, I touched them, I bent them, I did some testing, and this is what happened. I found out this was this, and this was this, and they are not the same, they are different. They are different, made of different materials. And that's my evidence. So, this, actually, you don't have any work to do from this part of the lesson. All you have is the two questions from this part. Okay, so that is, and writing the definition of the engineer. That's all, okay? The two questions on that sheet, and just write in the definition of engineer onto your vocabulary sheet. So that will be science. Have a great week off, and I will see you when you get back, maybe. All right, bye guys.